edition of OAKLAWN Capping Hour. As always, I'm Steve Simonovich, aka Steve-O. I'm here with my brother Marco, and he is on location as always in Hot Springs, Arkansas at the lake house. And we have a special guest, Texas Mike Steindler. And Mike, I'm happy you're our first guest, so I am really pumped having you on the show today.
Well, I am honored beyond belief to be your first guest.
Oh, I tell you what, I ran into you a few years ago, actually on Twitter, and I showed up at Lone Star at one of the tournaments, and you were the nicest guy. Everybody was talking about you. Do you want to go over here? Do you need a TV? Do you want something to drink? We have a buffet. Do you need racing forms? Is your seating good? It was a great experience, and you were in charge of, I think at that time, maybe that was at Sam Houston, that one, because you were at Lone Star and Sam Houston. But I mean, just the best hospitality that we've ever had at a tournament. You know, Hawthorne does a great job with us too, so I have to plug my Hawthorne people. But you are one of the best, Mike. So welcome, and thanks for joining us today. And tell us a little bit about yourself if you want, and let's dive into what you got cooking at Sam Houston.
Well, I've been a horse player since I was a teenager. I started working at Sam Houston as a second career around age 60. Worked there full time for about 10 years, then retired. Worked briefly part-time at Lone Star. And now I am back part-time seasonal at Sam Houston for their live meet. And among other things, I will be again coordinating their NHC contest on January 27th. Which coincides with the Houston Racing Festival. And also this year, we have increased the number of seats available from 2 to 4. So that's a pretty good expansion. And we're talking about some other enhancements, although I can't say anything about those now. And we're really excited. And the registrations so far for January 27th are strong and running well ahead of last year at a corresponding time. And the participation on horse tourneys has also been excellent so far. So we're looking forward to a really wonderful time. And I thank you for the comments about hospitality, because that is one thing we certainly emphasize.
Yeah, Mike, it was great when you were running those tournaments. And I was at the Sam Houston tournament last year, and I was near the lead or on the lead pretty much the whole day. And Marshall Graham got me on the last race. I think I ended up finishing third. And last year you were giving out 2 seats, I believe.
Yeah. Finished third this year.
Now you got 4.
Just because of you, we did that.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Although I'm going to be playing for points. My brother Marco is going to be playing for the seat. And I know that you'll have points this year. And
we'll have points.
Yep.
And we'll also want to emphasize that you can play. This is a first chance, last chance. You can play for either 24 or 25. So if you're double qualified for 24, take a swing at 25.
I did not know that. So I could play for a seat for the following year.
Correct.
Beautiful. As a double qualifier. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I love that idea, because Hawthorne is having
you're playing for more than points.
Cool. Yeah, Hawthorne's having a similar tournament February 16th, maybe, and 17th. So that's cool. So I'll be playing in both of those. And Marco, you're going to be coming down to Houston?
Yes, I am. It's in the plans.
Yeah, I've been playing online here and there. I saw Steve Lerma edged me out the other day. I got breakage, so I'm happy getting my money back at least. But I'll play probably on Saturday, or if there's something tomorrow, I'll look for that as well. And
there's speeders every day, and there's a Saturday qualifier this weekend, and many weekends there's 2 qualifiers. This weekend so far they've only scheduled 1.
And last year, how many players did you have, and what are you?
We had about 60 last year.
Okay, so it should
Um,
be more than that this year.
I would, yes.
Yeah, because
I'm
I
thinking
think
we're gonna be
last year
around
you
80.
last year I think you threw that together last minute as maybe just to appease some of us horse players that were asking about it kind of late in the game, and that was wonderful of you guys. And everybody's great over there, like Nick, and Nick still calls the races out there.
Nick still calls the races, and
Yeah.
for those out there that would like to be in the announcer's booth while Nick is calling a race,
I've done it.
let me know. We can arrange that. Maybe you could tell a little story about getting your picture taken in the winner's circle.
Well, it was funny. We had a horse run, or Marco, you did. I forgot what horse was running. It was either one of my dad's or Marco's, but
Mr.
who was it?
Mr. Hands On.
Oh, that was your horse, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, we went there. We thought it was going to win. It ran a good second, and we're like all bummed out. And then we ended up getting in the winner's circle with the horse, with the connections that won, with the jockey. We took a group photo. I think Dylan Donnelly was there, Justin Dew, yourself. And I forgot who the jockey was even, but he took a group photo with us and thought we were the winner. I had to tell him, hey, we ran second, but thanks a lot. So that was cool. And then I also got in, that was a different time at Lone Star. I got in the winner's circle when Steve Asmussen won the Texas Mile. That was a different day. I get all these days mixed up. But yeah, that was a fun time. And again, thanks, Mike, for holding those tournaments and
my
getting
pleasure.
everybody together.
And you mentioned Lone Star. Brandon Lee does a great job at Lone Star.
Oh, of course he does.
Always want
Brandon's
to
good.
acknowledge him.
Brandon's good people. Even down at, and then again at Sam Houston, Trey Styles, just a great guy and great handicapper. And he does, I think, the pre-race show down there still.
He and Nick do them, and then I substitute when
do.
either one of them is not available. So
All right,
I
there you
ended
go.
up doing about, 15 substitute appearances last year.
Perfect. So we do have a ticket here. Let me see if I can get it. I'll scroll it on the bottom for us. Boom, there we go. So Mike, you got a pick 5 ticket. You don't have to talk too much about it, but me and Marco are going to go into our plays, and for everybody, this is going to be like our first real show. We had a couple of trial runs last weekend where we were just getting our feet wet, didn't know what we were doing. We're going to be picking every race. We got our top pick, our alternate pick. We're going to keep track of our ROI, $2 win place on each pick. If our top pick scratches, we go at our alternate. If the alternate scratches, we'll have the post-time favorite. And we're going to tabulate our progress through the year, and we'll post our results. I guess every Sunday we'll total everything up for that show and show everybody where we're at. Or maybe Marco will do each day. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But we'll dive into the first race here. Race 1 was an interesting race here. Marco, this is a maiden claimer for 20,000. And again, we talked about it already. Maiden 22-year-olds, $33,000 purse, which is great because these horses, they've been getting their brains beat in against tougher, and now they get to step down here, but they're running for purse money that in some cases is higher than where they were running. So it's kind of I guess you could call it a lateral move for some, just because they've been running at tougher, they're weaker circuits, and now they're in a tougher circuit. But I ended up on a horse here, number 1 Superhero. There's not a lot of imagination here. It's 4-1. It's Steve Asmussen, Ramon Vasquez. My notes were first hood. It drops, has a nice tab, and I just think from the rail, it's just gonna get out and go. I mean, if you look at that last race on November 11th, they went 21-4, 45-4, and it just couldn't keep up with these. And I feel that they could pop the lid and go here and possibly wire. My backup was the 5. It was getting first dirt, I believe, or first fast dirt, and off a little bit of a layoff. I thought this one had a shot to maybe move up a little bit on a fast dirt surface. What say you, Marco?
Yeah, nothing wrong with that one. I actually have him selected number 2. But I landed on number 7, professional grade.
Mm-hmm.
Basically trained by Diodoro, and we still need to figure out what's going on there.
Yeah, with Sean Williams. Yeah.
Yeah, but he ran on the turf last out. Just getting back on the dirt, getting an extra half furlong. Just missed 2 back. A little cheaper, but I think he could be forwardly placed in a decent stalking position, maybe right behind the one. And if he catches them, he catches them. If he don't, he don't. What's interesting about this horse also, he's half to a graded stakes winner. And I always look at family lines when I'm handicapping young horse. See, what might be in the blood. But I landed on the 7 professional grade, 6-1 morning line.
Yeah. Mike, you don't have this horse on your ticket. I do. It wasn't in my top 2 picks, but I do notice it's getting second time blinkers, and that's a big handicapping angle for one of my Twitter buddies, Chalkbuster. He loves that angle. And, you're going turf to dirt. So, yeah, maybe this one could be dangerous. Your backup pick was the 1 as well, probably for all the same reasons that I liked it.
Exactly. And I usually take Asmussen quite a bit at OAKLAWN. He wins here a lot. So,
yeah, I feel that. I feel that runner's going to be tough. And, Mike, you have that one on your ticket. And you're a little bit deep, Mike. You have the 2, 4, 6, and 8 as well in this first leg. So I would imagine
I don't like to lose in the first leg of a pick 5 or a pick 4. So I tend to go deeper than maybe I should, but I want to at least get to the second leg. There were 2 horses I picked in here because they have been racing on the Kentucky circuit, and the Kentucky circuit dominated the first weekend at OAKLAWN. There are a couple other horses in here I picked because they were going from maiden special weight to maiden claiming. I think that's one of the biggest drops in horse racing. Yep. And that's always an angle that I find hard to ignore.
100%. Yeah.
I put the 8 in. I'm not. The 8 is 2-1 in the morning line. It's a first time starter. I would say of my 5 horses there, that would be the first one I would drop out. But I love it.
Let's talk about that 8 for a second.
Go ahead. What do you got on it? It's good magic, sire.
They purchased this horse for $330,000, and they're running him for $20,000 tag.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. Now, this horse could maybe be hurt with 3 legs.
It's WinStar, Marco, and it's a tax write-off. That's all you need to know.
So that's why I was not on the 8, but sometimes these droppers or good bred horses can win on 3 legs versus a not so good group. But I'm going to toss.
Okay, duly noted. I think you're well covered, Mike. I think the 1's going to be tough. Marco, I like your horse. If it wins, hey, we'll tip our cap and go from there. The second race is $7,500 open claiming event, and the purse is $30,000. God, I love OAKLAWN. I landed on the 1 here, Chisholm Trail. Horse is 12-1. This one likes it's getting first hood. Number 1, it's dropping, and it's got a nice little work tab going on. And at 12-1, I've seen worse long shots. I kind of like this horse a lot. And I also have the 2 as a backup just because I think it might be the speed of the speed, Man on the Moon. It's got that race under its belt, speed fade. It came out of Southern California. This horse it's been all over the place. Gulfstream, Del Mar, Kentucky. Now it's coming here.
And he's done well at all those tracks.
What was that, Mike?
He's done well at all those tracks.
Yeah, the horse shows up, has a lot of speed. And I feel that one is going to be dangerous. But, at 2-1, not a lot of imagination. I just felt like the 1 might be able to pop the race of its life here.
Also noticed on your 1, he broke his maiden last year at OAKLAWN.
Right.
So
there you go.
We know he likes to track.
Broke the maiden there.
And
Ran
you got a
a
jockey
really
who hit a 30-1 shot on opening day.
De La Cruz, 100%. Marco, you got the 5 and the 12. Tell me a little bit about the 5.
All right, so the 5, Calipari, he's a longer shot, but his last 2 races were pretty impressive, and I like the way he won stalking and then pouncing. And
Okay.
Isaac Castillo is aboard. This guy knows how to place these types of horses in position. And also, he's the 5 horse. Isaac Castillo brought home a 20-1 Michael Lish's day 1. And he came in second with Honor Cat, the 5 horse, on day 2 at 50-1. And here we are again, the 5 horse, Isaac Castillo. And I'm just hoping, he can bring the bomber home. So this is my bomb of the day.
We were talking about that jock Castillo, and he comes from a long line of Panamanian jockeys. And we know a guy out at Golden Gate really good, Alexander Chavez. Just a riding machine out there. He got some days out there. He went back to Panama for Christmas, but so you got Castillo now is trying to follow in his footsteps here at OAKLAWN. And of course, Edgar Perez out in Florida. And then Renee Douglas, his jock agent, is also Panamanian. So I like the Panamanian connection with all these guys, and they're all good riders. And this kid, he might have a good meet here. He's already got 2 wins, 2 seconds. And I'm interested to see what he's going to do as the OAKLAWN meet goes on. Did you mention this was your long shot play of the day?
My bomb of the day here.
I got you.
I'm hoping, the man on the moon should set the pace. Hopefully he gets a little pressure from the 12, which is my second selection. And I think we can get a perfect stalking trip right behind them too, and just Isaac do his thing.
I can see that. Mike, you had 2, 8, 12 here. You're 3 deep. You don't have you do have the 2, which we agree that is going to be tough. You don't have my 1, which is, hey, I'm not going to get mad at you. And you don't have Marco's horse, but you also have the 8 and the 12. Tell me a little bit about those guys.
Well, one, I look at the trainer, Broberg, who has been amazingly successful in Texas. He's been expanding his operation a little bit to OAKLAWN, where he's not been as successful, but I still, I never want to overlook him. You have a jockey here who has got off to a great start last weekend. And you have a horse that is coming from Churchill, and horses coming from Churchill absolutely dominated last weekend.
Mm-hmm. And you got Asmussen with the 12, what Ramon Vasquez, so that makes 100% no sense.
And the 12 is again an Asmussen horse who has run at OAKLAWN before and has had some success.
Yeah, 2 wins and 6 starts. Horse looks like it's going to be pretty speedy out there. Could work out a trip, maybe get over at any time, and then
that's
find a
the
nice
concern.
spot.
That's the concern, is the post position.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. I like those picks. Those look like live horses, and so far I like your ticket, Mike. Let's go to race 3. I landed on the 6, and the 6. What I have from this horse is it likes Oaklawn Park. It's got a good little work tab going on. I think it had a little bit of a trip issue last time, and bobbled at Laurel. And I watched the replay of that one, and it had too much to do. I bet you track has probably had a lot of feet, extra feet that it ran that day. It's coming in cheap. It's running for 30 now. It's always run against some tough company line horses, out east. It's run here really well in the past. It's got a lot of races here, a lot of success, some nice speed figures. Maybe I can get one more last hurrah. If you look at the work tab, since that last race, it's got a couple of bullets here at OAKLAWN. And 4-1 isn't the biggest price in the world, but it's square, and I think it's going to be live. I also landed on number 1 as my backup, Lake Radio. It's a Thistledown, Ohio Mountaineer type horse. But again, this is another one that ran here last year. Didn't win a race, but did well. Hit the board in a couple of races and some salty races, and now it's running for 30. And I thought it was one that you might want to throw on as maybe underneath the ticket, and in case my top pick gets scratched, I'll land there. Marco, you have the 7. Tell me a little bit about that horse.
The problem with this one, hasn't raced in over or just about a year. Long layoff. It ran well, actually, at OAKLAWN off the layoff before, but that was in the past. I'm just hoping he can get some of his back class numbers back.
Mm-hmm.
He seems like he's proven at OAKLAWN, and I like the way he's been working out in the morning. He's got a couple good drills. But I don't think he's too far off from winning a race. But then again, the layoff is a concern. But I'm hoping a lot of people overlook that factor, and I get a nice square price on him.
Yes, and you also landed on my 6 as your backup, and probably don't have to talk too much more outside of what I added.
Pretty much the same.
We seem for a 7-horse field, we seem pretty spread out on this race.
Well, me and Marco both like the 6. I think the one curveball here. Well, the 3 is you have the 3 on your ticket, Mike, and I get it. You got to have this one on your ticket. Tell me a little bit about Bourbon Spirits. 8-5 morning line. You're only 2 deep. You have, the 7-horse, Marco's 7-horse on here. But you also did a saver with the 3 Bourbon Spirit.
Well, again, you've got a horse that's coming from the Kentucky circuit. You've got, not that one weekend means anything, but you have the top jockey from last weekend, and you've got Brad Cox also as a trainer, and this horse has the best consistent buyers. So I think he's the one to beat. And if I wanted to skinny my ticket down, because it is a fairly expensive ticket, I would look at singling this horse and cutting the cost of my ticket in half.
Okay. Duly noted. Those are fighting words, by the way.
I'm not going to do that, but for those that want a thinner ticket, that's what I would do.
Okay. Duly noted on that. I like it. Let's move to the next race. Race 4 is a 2-year-old maiden claiming. This is for $75,000. Purse is $65,000. And in this race, I landed on number 5. And this was strictly it was kind of like a company lines play. Nash is just an unbelievable horse. This horse, you look at it, ran at Churchill there, lost by 22 lengths, but Nash won by 10. So it really got muddied up, and Nash is going to go on to do some good things on the Kentucky Derby Trail. Whereas, this horse is going to try and, lick its wounds from that one and step down in class here. It's getting second-time blinkers. I mentioned that already. And, I just feel like this horse is going to wake up a lot for Steve Asmussen. It's 7-2, and, yeah, I'd love to get $9 on this horse if I can get it and move on from there. My backup was the 6, Revelation. It's, again, 3-1 morning line favorite, first time starter. It's a Constitution. I had to throw it in there. I just like Brad Cox's numbers with first time starters, and he's really good with debut maiden claimers. So I added it on my ticket. Marco, you like this horse?
Yeah, I'm also on Revelation. Like you said, Cox is 26% first time out. I'm cited by Constitution. 17% first time starter. This horse is also full brother to Herodsburg, who won his first time out in a maiden special weight.
Oh, I see that.
Sprinting at Aqueduct last spring. I think this is a horse that could come out and dominate and throw an 80 out there first time and just be a world beater.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And that horse there, the broodmare Gracer, was also a stakes winner, sprinting at Laurel. So multiple stakes winner, as a matter of fact. So good genes with that horse, and makes a lot of sense. Mike, your ticket does have the 5, 6, and 7. So you pretty much have the horses that we like, and you just threw the 7 in there.
Well, that's just a proof that great minds think alike.
Okay, that's all we'll add with that. I think we covered all our
the
bases
other
with that one.
What
was that, Marco?
I threw the other Cox runner in there. I'm liking a Cox exacta here.
Okay, I see that. Yeah, the 8. You threw that one in as your backup. Okay. Well, on that note, we'll move on to the next race. We go from a 2-year-old salty race over to a Arkansas state bred non-winners of 2 life for 20 and $34,000 pot. And these horses aren't very fast, but they're running for a good purse, and their horses too. And I ended up on the 7 here. The reason why I picked the 7, and me and Mike were talking before the show started about this race, and I didn't mention who I liked. And Mike, you were kind of poo-pooing my horse here, but I like this horse because it won against Open Company and it won by 12 on a maiden breaker. They did run it against Open Company again and an A other than, and it got trounced. But like a lot of these Arkansas breds, they give them some time off and get them ready for the OAKLAWN meet for the big purse money. And, duly noted on the work tab, Mike, earlier you said, it doesn't scream crazy, crazy, crazy fast, but this horse was never a big morning glory. I do like De La Cruz on it, and it's running it, in the cheapest race of its life, and I think it could perk up a little bit here. I have the 8 as my backup just because it likes to hit the board. It likes to try. It's only had one really awful race, and that was in the Rainbow Mistakes, which, that was kind of ambitious. All the other races, it's run third 3 times, and it won its debut. So that's where I landed on those 2. Marco, you got the 12.
Yeah, I'm going all the way to the outside again here. Well, for one, there's not a lot of speed here in this race. So I'm looking for this one to break sharp, tuck them in up close, and stalk if there are some front runners trying to go balls to the wall. He could end up with the lead on default, but I do not want to get into a duel. But if he gets the lead on default, I'm hoping he can just keep going. If some other ones get out there, it would be even better. And then I also 11, more of a later runner. And if they all try to go, maybe he can pick up the pieces late. But the 12 will be picking here.
Okay, duly noted on that. Mike, I'd like to segue and talk about this race a little bit because you have a horse that you really kind of like in here. And
I also have your 7, by the way.
I saw that. I peeked down at the ticket, and you saw what I saw, and you're like, I got to throw it on there as a saver.
Yeah, I have the 8 also.
But you emailed this to me yesterday or last night or whenever that was. So you were wise to that. But you have a horse that you like a little bit. And let me see. Am I in the right race?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
race 5. Yeah, this is your bomb play of the day. Tell us a little bit about this horse.
I like the 6 horse, KJ's Pistol Annie. And to get there, I looked at the top 3 in the morning line, and I don't think any of those 3 horses are a cinch. I think they've all got issues, although I included 2 of those 3 in my pick 5. Now take a look at the 6 horse, and I got to first throw out his last race. That last race was at a mile. This horse is a sprinter. This race is a sprint. And he started off okay last time. He had an early lead, and eventually he just gave it up because he's not a distance horse. He's got one other really bad race in his lines, and that's back at OAKLAWN last year. That was an allowance race where the horse has generally been in claiming races. And he went off at 50-1 in that race, so he was never even thought to be a factor, and he wasn't. So throughout those 2 races, and his lines look pretty good. His only win was also last year at OAKLAWN in a sprint. That's his maiden win. I was just going to mention that. So he can win at this track. He's done it before. And, he's also finished second 3 times at this track in 9 races? So, I think you put that all together, and I think this horse has a shot. Is he a lead pipe cinch? No. But I think there's a decent chance this horse could cash at a nice price.
Yeah, at this condition,
I would
Mike,
certainly not ignore him. For those that play vertical, I would certainly have him underneath.
Well, I want to add, Mike, this horse at this condition last year just missed by a neck. And, interestingly enough, the last 2 races, it did not run with Lasix, and it's got Lasix today. I'm not sure if that was by design. Was the horse dehydrated, not keeping weight? Not sure what was going on there, but it's coming off a layoff, and that last work is good enough. It's a nice little tab there. Nice
the layoff bothers me, but there's a lot of horses in here coming off a layoff, so I think there's more than one horse that has that issue here, including many of your contenders.
This race has the classic OAKLAWN written all over it. Price. You're looking through here, and I think we could have a bomb here somewhere.
Well, I totally agree with that. And the other reason I mentioned earlier, I don't like to lose in the first race of a Big 5. Yeah. I don't like to lose in the last race either. So I tend to go deep in the first and the last race.
There's nothing. The only thing worse than losing the first leg is having a will pay and not hitting that. Yeah. So I'm with you all the way. I had a quick story. I singled our horse Lady J at Santa Anita. I hit like 220, 30-1 bombs. I have a will pay with her for $72,000, and she's running down the hill, and she has the lead. Juan Hernandez got her out into the front, and she had the lead the whole way until about 100 yards from the wire and got caught. And it was for $72,000. Talk about a punch in the gut. So, that hurts. But Mike, hey, I like this pick. This is Mike's bomb play of the day. So everybody out there, take a peek at it, throw it on your horizontals, throw it underneath on your verts, and heck, get a win ticket on it if you want. Let's move on to switch
subjects for a minute because I'm hungry.
Okay, go ahead.
I had never been to Saratoga till this summer, and I went up there for a week. And what a wonderful experience that was. And it's also the home of the National Horse Racing Hall of Fame Museum. And this week they announced that they're going to have a special exhibit next year. And it's entitled Hot Dog, the Harry Stevens Concession Story. Harry M. Stevens is a concessionaire at many stadiums and racetracks across the country. And apparently they're going to chronicle, I'm not sure if they're going to chronicle the hot dog or chronicle his whole concession business. But anyway, I thought that was a very interesting subject or theme for a racing Hall of Fame. And,
you got to. Is that a Saratoga special right
I'm hungry. I'm going to have a hot dog right now.
Don't get Joey Chestnut next to that thing.
Good.
Nice job, Mike. All right. I don't need hot dogs, by the way. Like,
That's
you know
probably
what
a
those things
smart
are made
move.
out of? No.
Throw some
You don't
chili
want
and
to
cheese.
know.
All right. On that note, let's move on to race 6. This race here is a 30,000 claiming event, $60,000 purse. So this is obviously an open claiming event. Big purse, big purse. I landed on the 1 here, and American band. There's not a lot of imagination here. It's not the biggest price in the world, but I feel like it likes the OAKLAWN surface, and I love the horse for course angle. And any horse that likes to run at a track, I'm always gonna give it a couple of legs up. I'm gonna look at it twice, 3 times, 4 times, and I'm gonna land on it a lot of times if it's competitive. So this horse is just loves it here. So it's popular at the claim box. So we got to see how the new connections are gonna do with it off a very long layoff from the Asmussen barn. But I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt and throw it on top. And then I also like the 2 at 12 to 1. This horse has won 3 of its last 5 starts, and it likes to just win in general, 7 wins in 30. And I know it's coming out of Ohio, and those tracks that, they don't get the respect out there as they should, but it won here last year for 20, and it's going to be prominent early. And at 12 to 1, I'll have it on my tickets. Marco, you're on the 8.
I'm on the 8. Rockstar Parking. She looks like the one to beat, and I think she has the most impressive resume in the race. And this could end up being a 2-horse race with the 8 and the 1, in my opinion. American Band, outside of her debut and her next out by a neck, is unbeaten. So she will have something to say in this race. But like I said, Rockstar Parking just looks much better than the rest of the group here, and the odds are the odds. And sometimes if you can't beat them, you bet them. So.
Yeah, and you do have a little bit of a recency, which is great, and a nice work tab. So it makes a lot of sense. And 2 to 1, if you get it, probably be more like 3 to 2. But yeah, that horse makes a ton of sense. Mike, did you have an opinion? I know there's no exotics here or anything, but
Yeah, I have the 1 and the 4 in this race.
okay. So
What do
you
y'all
also
think
have
of the 4?
Yeah, the 4's 3 to 1. It's exiting a starter 30 allowance condition on a sloppy track. It won on a fast strip 2 back for 20. And Ramsey Zimmerman, he used to ride at Hawthorne back in the day for D. Polis. I remember meeting him when he was just a little kid, basically. And it's good seeing him in the irons out there at OAKLAWN.
Also noticing that the horses had some success at OAKLAWN last year and before.
Okay. Duly noted. We'll move on to race 7. And I was on the 8 here. This, if you look at the race, it looks like a mad dash for the front. Lots of speed sign down here. And I'm just thinking this horse is the best closer. If you look at that horse Boss Logic that it ran against 2 back, that thing freaked. And that's a good company line angle. I like to look at company lines. And, obviously from day to day, we don't know how the track's going to be playing. But if this horse gets, a pace like I think it's going to get, it doesn't win often. But this might be one of those days where you get that perfect storm. You get that really fast pace to run at, and you make a nice move down the lane. It hasn't run here, but it has been working here. It's got a couple of works, and it's moving okay in the morning. And Bejarano, an oldie but a goodie. I remember him in Southern California when I used to go to the Dairyland dog track. I used to bet this guy blindly back in the day when I didn't know what I was doing. So it's kind of cool seeing him over there. And for my backup, I went with Can't Beat the Rock. Friend of ours from the Lone Speed Tex group, Dylan Donnelly, used to own this horse. And this horse likes to run second and third a lot. Gets up there and it quite doesn't want to stick its nose out in front, but it's good enough coming out of these Southern Cal and then these New York races to be competitive. It's run really well for David Jacobson since he claimed it. And he did win a race with this horse in Southern California, but classy horse with some of the horses it's been running against, and it should be right there. But it is another one that doesn't like to win. So between my two picks, you're looking at 6 wins from what? 50 something starts. So
And which two horses are those?
It's the 8 Kobla Mas, if I'm pronouncing that right.
Okay.
And I'm backing it up with Can't Beat the Rock. Marco, you have Can't Beat the Rock on top.
Yeah, I'm actually flip-flop with you. What I do like is Can't Beat the Rock has good tactical speed, and he's staying at the mile distance for this. And there's a ton of speed in here. And I think it could possibly fall apart up front. And if he chases too hard, this is another reason why I took the 8 as my alternate. The 8 is the one that could come from the clouds and really just strike them all down. But there's a lot of speed to run at the mile. And I've been watching this horse, like you said, with Dylan used to own it. There's a lot of familiar. It's familiar to me, so I think the stalking trip is the way to go at OAKLAWN. So far, the first 2 days, you have 15 wins that came off stalking trips, 2 gate to wires, and 3 deep closers. This may be the one where the deep closer could come and get it, though. But I'm hoping it Can't Beat the Rock stays up, just because I picked them over the 8.
Well, I would like to add, we do have the short stretch of the mile here, and this might be the trip for this horse. You turn for home, and the wire's right there. Let's go get it. So, I like it. 5-2 morning line. $7. We'll take it if we can hit it. Mike, did you have to add anything?
Yeah, I got 2 long shots I like here. I agree with both of you that there's a real possibility that there's a meltdown on the front end here.
Okay.
And if that's the case, we're looking for horses that can pick up the pieces. And I'm looking at 2 of them at a big price. The first one is number 2, Rock and Rockert. And is that a new trainer? I don't know that I've heard his name a lot.
Are you talking about the coach?
There. I'm being facetious.
I know.
He's more than capable of surprising you with long shots. This horse also has a win at OAKLAWN last year, and it was at a 40-1 price. So I wouldn't be shocked if he does it again.
I like it.
I definitely won't be shocked. And
the other one I looked at here is a long shot is the 5.
Life on the Nile, 20-1.
Yeah, I like the breeding. Although when a horse has run this many times, I don't know that the breeding is that influential. But he does come from Pioneer of the Nile, an Empire Maker. He's 0 for 9 at OAKLAWN Park, which is not encouraging. But he's 5 for 9 in the money, so he has been close many times at OAKLAWN. And if there's a meltdown, maybe this time he finally gets the win. Long shot, no doubt, but I think he's capable. But we need that pace meltdown for that to happen.
To me, it's amazing that they haven't run this horse on turf yet, or synthetic for that matter. I just noticed Life is Sweet is the broodmare. My God, what a great mare that was out of the John Sheriff's barn, overshadowed by Zenyatta, because he had this mare in his barn at the same time as Zenyatta. But wow, I mean, it's amazing. This horse, somebody needs to call Dan Ward and say, hey, ship this thing down to Fairgrounds and get it on turf, or buy you at Houston.
What do you all do from a strategic sense when there's two long shots in the same race that you like? I don't normally like to bet two horses to win. I think you're betting against yourself when you do that. But
Uh,
when they're both long shots, do you do it?
yeah, you could pick. Well, I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to take me and Marco's picks. And what I'm going to do is take those two on top, first and second slots. Or actually, I'll probably, first and second slots. And then I'll throw these two in as well underneath. So maybe I'll do a $5 or $10 trifecta, add a couple other ones in there as well. But basically, if we hit the exacta, we're in. What's up, Marco?
Like, play with some exotics, maybe like the superfecta or something.
Yeah.
You hit some of them in. I mean, you're getting paid. And then the bombs do happen at OAKLAWN. I don't know how many.
Again,
another way for me to look at it, if I'm still alive in the pick 5, I don't need to do anything.
Oh yeah, if you hit that, then you might be feeling frisky. You got the house money. I'm gonna go, then you go nuts. Start betting more. No, but listen, this horse here, I need to put a note in here. I want to bet this horse on turf or on synthetic next time. And it's got if you believe in Turf Tomlinson numbers, it has a 341. But man, being out of Life is Sweet. Man, you gotta try it. Let's look at the siblings. It does have a sibling that has some pretty good numbers. Broke its maiden on turf with an 82 Beyer speed figure. So here's another sibling. Won a maiden special weight at Santa Anita on turf with an 81 Beyer speed figure. Here's another one that broke its maiden at Santa Anita with a 75 Beyer speed figure. So you catch my drift here. This horse needs to get on turf. But
that won't happen at OAKLAWN.
No, it's not going to happen at OAKLAWN.
Ship him to Sam Houston.
All right. We'll move on to race number 8. I picked the 6 horse here. And I like this horse because it just loves. I think this horse just loves to win. And it's got 8 wins and 21 starts. And it's got a good work tab here. It's got a lot of early speed. It's coming. It's a Chicago horse. It ran against a really good horse last time at Keeneland in a starter event. Ran second. And it lands here, and it landed here to win. I mean, they're here to win this race, and it's 3-1. Again, nothing huge, but this is the type of horse it could pop big time. Now it did run twice here, okay, once on a muddy track for 10, and open 30 where it ran 7th, but it really wasn't that great of a horse back then. They dropped it all the way down to 62.50, non-winners of 3 life event. So it basically ran as fast as it did for 30 at OAKLAWN, and it ran second, got its confidence up, won that same condition. And then it got claimed in the DeVito barn, and it picked up a lot. So, let's see what happens. 3-1. I'm going to have a hefty wager on it, and we'll see where we go from there. I also like the 5. The 5 was a runner that, this one doesn't like to win as often, but it's coming out of Remington, and it's coming out of some of these 5-panel races. The last time it ran 6 furlongs in a stake, it lost by half a length, but a good number. So I feel like 6 furlongs is its trip here, even though it had a lackluster 6-panel race at Lone Star that day. But there it was kind of close up to a 45-1 pace, so I guess you can't hold that against it. Mark, where'd you land?
I landed on the 3 Spotted Bull, 12-1 morning line. And really what I liked about this one, he's put together 5 wins this year alone. So he kind of came into his own this past year. A lot of improvement over the years prior. He had a couple places, couple shows on top of that. he's in a new barn, and he's got an equipment change with the blinkers off. And if you look way down the line to when he broke Aiden, they took the blinkers off for that race as well. So,
Oh wow, I got to hit
knows
show all lines on my DRF.
yeah, on by the equipment change. He's done it before. It was a long time ago, but as Justin Dew would say, horses are the smartest animal, on the planet.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
that's good.
I like the way he's been running this year. He's got 5 wins and 9 wins in his lifetime. So he's one that knows how to win.
And speaking of horses that know how to win, you also have the one here that's won 3 in a row.
Yeah, and the one is another one. I didn't get too creative, 5-2. But he knows how to win. He's got 6 wins and 13 career starts, 2 of 5 at the distance. And this horse should be forwardly placed. Jacobson, Vasquez, that's a strong connection. And he's running strong, and you have to include him in your tickets.
Very good. Mike, did you have anything to add to this race?
Yeah, I like your. I think the 1, 2, 8 are the horses to beat, but I noticed that the 1 and the 8 have never won at OAKLAWN. I'm sorry, they've never run at OAKLAWN.
Yeah.
The 2 has run at OAKLAWN, but it's been, I think a few years ago. And there's, I can see. I don't know what these 3 horses are going to do at OAKLAWN. There's 6 other horses, however, that have had success at OAKLAWN that are in this race, including your number 5. And that's the 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9.
Right.
I believe one of those 6 horses is going to win this race. I just don't know which one.
Okay.
So I can't really give out a selection, but I think this race sets up for a price. I just don't know which horse is going to deliver on that price.
Well, it is that type of race. It's hard to pick a winner in here. It's deep.
But if I'm still around in the 9th race tomorrow, I'm going to be playing one of those 6 horses.
Okay. Very good.
Not sure which one, or maybe 4 of them in a trifecta box. I don't know.
We'll move on to the feature race of the day. It's a optional claiming 50,000 open allowance. Check out this purse, $142,000. Oh, so a big purse here. What's that, Marco?
Many tracks around the stakes purse in many tracks around the country.
Well, 142 grand. That's like you see that at Churchill sometimes, and especially at Kentucky Downs where they got those $180,000 allowance races. So, I mean, a purse like this, and I know our dad shipped a lot of horses down that are going to be running in similar purses like this at the end of the month around New Year's. But this is a really good field. I mean, these are stake horses. A lot of horses in here have run in stake races. I landed on the 7 as my top pick. I do want to note that I threw, and I hope I don't do a Justin Do here, because I threw Command Performance out. I did have this horse last time at 13-1, and I did text Justin about this horse. I said, hey, because he had this horse, I think, in the Breeders' Cup or something. And I said, hey, are you going to play Command Performance? I kind of like him today. He's like, no, I'm not playing it. Or I thought he even said it was a rat, but I don't think he went that far. And the horse won 13-1, and I made a good score. But I don't have it as my top 2 here. I like Wheelan Springs, and this trainer Lindsay Schultz is really good with this move. 26% off the layoff, and it's not a big layoff. It's the 61 to 180 day variety. Just gave it a little freshening off that grade 2 at Churchill, where it needed that super win. At a stake and a grade 3 at Monmouth. What a big number. So it probably bounced a little bit. Maybe it was a little bit tired. Had some time off. Nice little work tab coming in. And I think this horse is going to be tough to handle here. I like the outside draw. That's not too far outside, but you're not going to be pinned down on the rail. And this horse likes to be prominent, but not on the lead. It can get near the lead. It can lay off the lead. So I think, Arrieta can pick his spots. And like we mentioned, Arrieta had a really good meet last year. Has been knocking on the door a lot this year. He's 9 out of 16 in the money. And I just feel like this horse is going to be ready to pop a big one. The 4 is my backup. I did pick this horse at the NHC, I want to say a couple years ago. Yeah, and it didn't win for me, but I like this horse. It's got a lot of success here at OAKLAWN, and it's got 2 wins, 4 seconds. It's 15-1, and a little bit of a freshening here. We haven't seen it since Indiana in July, but this is the type of horse that can be on the muscle early. Maybe be close, maybe take the lead. Can make some noise here if it's ready to pop off the bench. John Horan, not the biggest trainer off the layoffs, but I do like this horse because of the horse for course angle. And you look at some of the company lines. This horse ran against Elite Power at Churchill last year and didn't embarrass itself. So there's a couple other good runners in there as well. Marco, you landed on a 2.
Silver Prospector.
Real quick. Silver Prospector won me an NHC seat at Hawthorne when they had it at, I think it was a 2-year-old stake in the slop at Aqueduct. I think it was a Remsen. So that was like a few years ago, 3-4 years ago.
I've always been a fan of this horse. Asmussen's trained, and he's got his son Keith on it. And he's actually been riding pretty well versus 4 years.
Yeah, I'm noticing that too. There's been a big improvement in his performance.
Big improvement. And Silver Prospector has been running in graded stakes company pretty much his whole career. Some of these in here have run in stakes company, but they've also ran in other races. I think it's a little bit of a class relief, and I could see him being a little bit closer this time around to get the trip that he needs. Okay. So I really like this horse tomorrow.
I like it. And then for your backup, you like Tonka Warrior out of the Mac Robertson barn.
Yeah, Tonka Warrior is another one that could. He's got a good closer. He's 5 out of 7 in 20 at OAKLAWN with 2 wins.
Yeah, likes it here.
He's turf to dirt. It's just a matter of if he's ready or not.
Well,
he hasn't raced since June, so
based on that drill on December 3rd, he looks ready.
So that's what we're hoping for. If Silver Prospector ends up not being in here, or I might just do 2-5 exacta. Might box them up, but I plan on playing a lot of exactas for Friday's card. That's going to be my bets of choice.
Okay, very good. So, Mike, did you have anything to add to this race?
I like race. Silver Prospector too. My only concern there is he's been off since May, but the first month at OAKLAWN, that's a concern with a lot of horses.
Well,
and many of them overcome that.
I will say that both of your picks, Marco, and you, Mike, with the 2 there, both of those horses are coming off layoffs, but both are working really, really good. So I would expect that the connections who are really good, you got some good conditioners with these horses. That I think they're ready. So, and there's a lot of other horses in here that we haven't even touched on, but I mean, it's going to be a fun race, and I can't wait to watch it. I can tell you that. Race number 10.
How's your golf game when you haven't played for 6 months?
It's usually good, believe it or not, because you don't have any old habits.
Well, I do good off layoffs. Same here.
Yeah, me too.
So you never know. It's the second or third day I regress.
Yeah.
Yes. How they're warming up on the track before the race, because it takes me to about before I do anything good.
To close out the OAKLAWN card, the nightcap here is a $16,000 non-winners of 2 life claiming event, $30,000 purse. And I ended up on the 4 as my top pick. And this horse is 15-1. It's just taking a deep plunge, and it has some back numbers, and that was my reason for this. I just feel like hasn't been off that long, and this might be a race where it could perk up a little bit and maybe make some noise. It's moving from a couple of synthetic races back to dirt, which is a good thing. And when it broke its maiden on the dirt in the maiden special event, just took over the lead and kept going with a good number. And I feel like this horse here, although it is going to be going 6 panels, I think getting back to dirt will be the key. And it should run a really, really good race. And I also landed on a bomb. And, this here is I like this horse a lot. It's gelded. It's coming off a little bit of a layoff, but it's dropping in class. It's fast. And I think they're just going to probably send this horse. And we've owned a lot of horses, and horses that get gelded, they really can perk up a lot. And I just think that, it's got strong local drills. It's dropping. It's gelded. The main thing is the price. The price is just too good to pass up. I don't know a lot about Fuentes. Marco, you might know a little bit more about him.
I'm actually not very familiar whatsoever. Not even sure where you came from.
Well, yeah, he's in the irons, and he's never ridden for Randy Morse before. This is, well, at least in the last 2 years. But I don't know. I've seen worse long shots. This horse, I mean, really, what's in here anyway? And I think this horse could blow up the tote board. Marco, you landed on the 8.
Yeah, I'm on the Asmussen bandwagon again. Matter of fact, that's going to be my late double. This horse has been knocking on the door. He's got 5 seconds in 11 tries. It's a non-2 life event. Maybe this is his race. Should be out there. Should be up or near the lead. And I think that's where you need to be.
Okay.
Like, he just needs to get that extra oomph here at the end. And I believe this is going a little bit further. I don't know. This is the 6.
No, this is 6 panels.
He's actually cut back. So I actually should be stalking, which is 15 out of 20 winners at OAKLAWN this meet thus far. Okay.
And you also landed on the 11, which is Master of Arms, Ron Moquette, Kentucky Invader.
Yeah. Bejarano's got some good gate work. This so far watching him this year, and Moquette, I'm just I'm a fan of his. Third off the layoff, and he's got every opportunity to win this. Has a second here at the track. Little class drop here. This is a race. Anything can happen. The price isn't ideal for me, but I think third off the layoff with the connections can get it done.
Okay, duly noted. Mike, you have any input on this race?
I do not. I would just like to, in closing, say what a pleasure it was to be the first guest on your new venture. It was great fun. I look forward to seeing you both on January 27th. And speaking of Asmussen, I think you were there when this happened. This was at a Lone Star tournament. It was the last race of the contest, and Asmussen had 2 long shots, and they finished first and second for a huge exacta, and everyone was kicking themselves on how they overlooked that.
Yes, we were.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I have the details right, but I think I'm close.
He won the Texas. He won the 3-year-old stake. That
Texas
day.
Mile.
The Texas Mile, and he won the race before or after that. Yeah, I remember that vividly. Yeah.
Or maybe it was a double he won, and everybody had overlooked him.
Yeah,
that's what it was. It was a double.
Okay.
And I bet this man a lot. You know, he's one of my favorite trainers to bet, and for some reason didn't do it. And well, there you go. I went home broke.
Yep.
Yeah, he's also
Yes.
one of the most approachable people in the industry. You can see him one Saturday is at the Royal Ascot with his formal dress, formal attire, and then next Thursday night you see him out at Lone Star in shorts and flip flops and talking to anyone anyone that wants to come up and talk to him. He's very approachable, just one of the class gentlemen of this sport.
Seen him this morning in the paddock schooling horses.
Mm-hmm.
So he was right there, hands on. A lot of the other trainers had like a lot of their assistants there, but he was in the paddock doing his own schooling. So that's very encouraging. And I got some video and pictures. I don't know which horse it was, but those are the kind of notes that I like to hang on to, and for the future. So
Very, very good. In closing, I'll just throw up some of our long shots real quick to recap that. Marco, your big price play of the day will be race 2, number 5, Calipari. And Mike,
isn't he a basketball coach?
Yeah, he is Kentucky.
There you go.
Mike, you love KJ's Pistol Annie. We talked about that in depth. And I got a couple of horses here. I mentioned Chisholm Trail. And I got to throw in my Unbowed that I talked about recently here in race 10. 30-1 morning line. You got to have that one on your ticket. And everybody take a peek at Mike's early pick 5 ticket on the bottom. Write those numbers down. Add some horses to it. Tweak it out how you want.
If it wins, I'll be a guest again. If it goes down in flames, you'll never hear from me.
Of course you will.
Hey, we do. Hey, I played the first weekend. I'm still here fighting. Left a lot of money on the table, but OAKLAWN's hard to figure out.
Well, early on, it's a puzzle, and you got to get your trip notes down and learn how the connections are doing, and just get a feel for it. It is a very interesting meet. It's all dirt, 5.5, 6, a mile and a 16th, and a mile and an 1/8, except for the last race. The Happy Trail, which is that 1.75 miles, Marco?
I
believe it is.
The Trail's End?
Trail's End. Yeah.
Yeah.
I call it Happy Trail.
So, Steve, you're being close to the Chicago sports scene. I've always thought that OAKLAWN was the Wrigley Field of baseball, of horse racing, rather.
Interesting.
They're both, they both come right up to the street. They're not set back. They're right smack on the sidewalk. They're both old venues that have been here forever and have a lot of character. I've always thought they're similar.
Have you ever, you've been there? You've been there, Mike?
To Wrigley Field and OAKLAWN both, yes.
Good. Yeah, and of course I've mentioned this before. Our uncle, me and Marco's uncle and aunt own the restaurant across the street called Rocky's Corner. Great pizza, beef sandwiches. I get the cauliflower crust.
That's right across from right across from the
track,
from the entrance next to the parking lot, right?
You got it over there. Yeah,
okay,
what you could do, well, not by the parking lot all the way
north.
It's actually north side, right, Marco? Or whatever side that is.
It'll be on a north entrance.
Yeah.
Which side is the mural on?
The mural. That's
what's that?
That's towards the casino, right?
It'll
Marco?
be
entrance.
Okay, I was thinking across from that entrance. That's
well, they have a casino there now and a casino entrance, and
okay,
they have a lot of different stuff. They have a whole hotel in the first turn. Like you can get a hotel room right there, and yeah, it's a great time. Hot Springs is just always rustling and bustling, and the newspaper has horse racing on the front page, and downtown's always awesome. You can go to the Ohio Club. You can go to the Arlington
I love going
Hotel.
in the old hotel lobbies at night.
Yeah,
midnight people are there with their racing forms, handicapping
piano bar going.
Races.
Yep.
Marco, you got anything to add on that? I want to go to the Ohio Club when I come down there.
I personally like the Arlington Hotel. It's got a lot of old classic music.
That's the hotel I had in mind.
Yeah, you definitely would be a big fan of there, Mike. And it's just a real nice, classy place. A good night out, after the races.
Yeah, that's where I stayed last time I was there, and I remember you go down the hotel lobby at midnight. Everybody's down there with their racing Fords, getting ready for the next day.
Yeah, it's called the Saratoga of the South.
That's an accurate description.
So that's another, analogy that you can give it. Well, on that note, guys, it was a great show. We're a little over our hour, but it was a great hour and 10 minutes. And I like to close with, guys, let's cash some tickets. So I hope everybody makes a little bit of money. And let's see how we do. It'll be interesting. You guys have a great Friday. And Marco, I will see you tomorrow for our next taping.
Sounds good.
All right, guys.
You guys have a good evening, and
Later, Mike. Later, Marco.